Guys, if you really want to win at this game, you're going to need to get creative. What's going on, guys? I'm Braden Wirch. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. All right, guys, so I got a little bit of a different topic to talk to you guys about today, and it's more of a long-term play when it comes to drop shipping and e-commerce, but this can actually apply to essentially any business model, but especially e-commerce and drop shipping. So first, let me go ahead and tell you where this came about. So I just sold one of my drop shipping stores. This is an old tester store that I used, and I used it for testing everything, not just testing for winning products, but I used it to test new ad strategies. I used it to test different ad platforms. I used it to test even Amazon FBA connected to Shopify. I tested a lot of different things. So I want to go ahead and talk to you about a few different ways that this store actually really benefited from the testing and the creativity, and how you guys can implement that on your dropshipping store. So first, I want to talk about the blog. So I actually started this store and this site as a blog. I didn't even start it as a Shopify store. I had a WordPress site that I actually created a health and fitness blog, and I would write posts in the beginning, but then I outsourced the posts for very cheap and had someone writing 2 posts a week on it. I would say last September, October, I stopped writing any posts for it, stopped putting any posts up. But what had happened was I had built in enough posts, and I got enough SEO essentially that it really moved up the ranks. And so what was happening, even when I stopped all the ads on the site, I stopped promoting the blog at all, I was getting a lot of traffic coming from the blog to my Shopify store. So months went by with me running no ads on the store, and I was getting sales from just the traffic coming over from the blog. And so I want you guys to think how you can get more creative. And this is more applicable if you are trying to actually build a brand. So if you're doing apparel drop shipping store, or anything that you actually have a vision of having more of a long-term play, really building it up to a substantial business in the e-commerce marketplace, maybe eventually having your own products on the store, something like this is going to be very powerful. And you don't have to just do a blog. You could do a vlog. There's a reason why some of the most powerful affiliate marketers do it through YouTube. They do it through their own vlog, or they do it through a YouTube channel and doing reviews. You could go ahead and connect that and push that to your Shopify store. That would be insanely powerful. Just like a lot of people like to use Instagram influencers for Shopify, well, why don't you become an influencer? If you become an influencer, then you control exactly when you post something promoting the store, and you're not having to pay for it. That was the great thing about the blog. Once I had set it up, and yes, it was a long-term play. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, but once I had it built up, it was just running free traffic for me to the store. I didn't have to worry about constantly running ads essentially. Now, in drop shipping, yes. In the e-commerce, yes, we're going to need to run paid traffic. Paid traffic is king, and that's how we're going to get the bulk majority of our sales, at least on the front end. But if you have a blog, a vlog, whatever you can think of that's very creative, even SEO. SEO is not as important. It's especially not as important for Shopify and drop shipping. But all these things come into play. The longer and longer you have a store and you have a business, it all goes into building the brand. And so this brings me to a whole nother topic that I did with that store. And I actually private labeled products for that store. So a reason I talk about sunglasses all the time, guys, is because I started on Amazon FBA and then started testing it on the Shopify store as well. I actually private labeled bamboo sunglasses. And I actually made apparel designs as well, and had some print on demand as well as actual inventory held apparel with designs. And I was testing everything, guys. One thing that it did, one, it gave insane brand validity. Two, my private label products actually sold really well. And so as you guys start getting capital, if you guys are wanting to build a long-term brand and something that could actually be a staple in the marketplace, think about having your own products. And you might even want to transition from having a drop shipping store to having an actual inventory store. And you'd want to do it over time, but that's the beauty of both print on demand and traditional drop shipping, is that you can go ahead and combine it, or you could use the funds from that to go ahead and actually build out a legitimate actual inventory held store. Now, you might not want to do that. I mean, that has its whole other downsides and headaches, but you'll have the opportunity to do bigger long-term stores if you start thinking about how to build a brand. And to really build a brand, you're going to need to get creative. You're going to need to build the audience. You're going to need to build a passionate audience and an audience that wants to keep coming back. And in order to do that, you're going to need to get creative. You're going to need to get on other platforms. So everybody talks about just being on Facebook and Instagram. Why don't you get on YouTube? Do something on YouTube that could promote your store. That's very, very powerful, guys. I haven't done that personally, but I do know of guys that, especially affiliate marketers, that they just have YouTube channels to go ahead and essentially be an influencer, to go ahead and actually make affiliate sales, or they could go ahead and run it for their drop shipping store. So just get creative, guys. There's so many different ways to do this. I was on a consulting call with someone I'm mentoring today, and he had a great mindset, guys. One of the best stores I've seen in a while. But essentially the business model he wanted to do was, instead of having just a complete drop shipping store, he's actually wanting to build a brand that could be a staple in that niche's marketplace for years and years and years to come. So what he's doing is he's starting as a drop shipping store, and then he's slowly going to replace essentially the winning products with his label on it. And more so than just print on demand, that's actually where he's going to need to go ahead and private label the product. And this is a great idea, guys. This is how you'll build a legitimate, really powerful e-commerce brand that years down the road could be very, very successful. It's all about building the brand following. Drop shipping is amazing, guys, and you can make a lot of money really quickly. You can make a lot of money right now. But if you want to have, a brand 10 years down the road, that you have employees and all of that, you're going to need the brand. And a lot of you guys might not want that. You might not want the inventory held business, and I don't blame you. There's a lot of downsides to it as well. But you can definitely have a very, very powerful brand and brand business if you guys get creative and you start focusing on the long term now. You want to focus on the short term, and you want to go ahead and do the paid advertising, do everything for the front end, but at the same time you want to go ahead and start building out your long term. And so how to do that would be focusing on SEO, focusing on blog, focusing on possibly doing a YouTube channel, getting on all the social medias for it. I mean, there's so many out there. You could do LinkedIn and try to utilize that. There's so many different routes that you guys can get creative with this that people essentially just aren't doing. My store is testament to that. When I had a blog and I turned off advertising for essentially 3 months, and I was still getting daily sales, and they were all coming from my blog because I could track that with Google Analytics and everything. It was a complete click for me about how powerful this is, guys. So this video is just to go ahead and get you guys thinking. I want you guys thinking how you can get more creative, how you can go ahead and think long-term to build a long-term brand, whether that's just a drop shipping store or whether you want to actually have your own inventory. This is how you go ahead and you start building out that brand. You want to think about the short term and the long term. Reverse engineer very big, great businesses, reverse engineer how they got there, and start doing that stuff now. All right, guys, I hope you found insane value in this video. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. If you could, please leave me a like on this video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave in the comments if you guys are trying to do any of these strategies, if you're trying to have a blog, if you're trying to work on SEO, if you're doing other ad platforms that might not be as popular, like Snapchat and some other ad platforms. How are you guys getting creative? I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. But keep grinding, y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.